We've been making these Fortnite little simple objects from this scene right here, from this model, and I'd like to go on and do a few more of these things for you. I'd like to make this keyboard, and I would like to make, let's see, maybe this dial, and maybe we'll put them all together and build this thing later. So we're just having some fun modeling some simple objects. All right, so we're going to carry on here and make the keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the buttons first. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we need to make 7 buttons. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring in a plane, go into edit mode, rotate X 90, and let's scale that down to make one of the keys. I'm going to turn it to the side, and I'm going to hit E to extrude and push it out in the Y direction. I'm going to scale it down, press S and scale it down like this. Press 3 for face selection, select that back face, X faces. So we have the beginning of our key. 2 for edge selection, or click up there. Click this edge and this one, hold down shift, this one and this one, and let's bevel those. So Control B and pull like this until you get a divide that you like, and roll your mouse up. There's 1, 2, 3, like that. Deselect and then hold shift and alt and click the top edge there, going all the way around the top face, and Control B, do the same thing and pull, and we'll get a nice rounded button like that. Right click, shade smooth. You see the shading error there. Let's come over here, add modifier, weighted normal, and under normals auto smooth. Okay, so we have a button. Let's go back over here and look at this. See how close together they are. They're pretty close. So let's press 1 to look from front view. Select this one, go to the modifiers, and add an array in the X. Probably going to increase this a little bit. Hold down shift and pull. Let's try that for now. And I want 7 of those like that. Okay, there are going to be 4 rows. I think I'm just going to shift D and duplicate them and just do this by eye. So we have 4 of those now. So we have 7, and then after the 7th we have these spacebar like things. Now it's a little hard to tell whether these are lined up or not lined up, but we have 4 rows, and we'll do this. So let's just go ahead and do the spacebar. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this row, I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Go into edit mode, select a little piece, Control L to select all that's linked, Shift D, pull it out, and give it a similar amount of space between them. And then I'm going to go into wireframe mode and press 1 for vertex selection, B for box select, and select that side. And I'm going to pull this out so it looks like it's about twice the distance. Okay, Control L to select it all, and Shift D and pull it down. Let's go back into solid view and object mode. All right, what am I doing? So I've got those 2 there. Now, whether or not they line up or not, well, we'll worry about that in a bit. Now we'll do the real spacebar thing. So we have 2 buttons here, 2 buttons there, and a spacebar. So select this, so press the period key to zoom in. 1. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these 3 and we're going to join them all together. So, well, not exactly, but apply that array. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to select a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one, and Control L, X, vertices. I'm going to go into wireframe, box select these, and I'm going to pull this out like that. Deselect, solid view. And I've got the keys to the keyboard. Do I want to move this one down so it's in between? We could try that, see what it looks like. So I could come in, select a little bit, Control L, and I can just move this down to here and see if that replicates this a little bit better. I don't know that it does. I'll leave it there for now though. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can now make the back part of the keyboard. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to have a little bit of thickness so that it can sort of go down onto that, and it comes in and it slopes up, comes across a little bit, and then it goes, looks like it goes straight down, rounded edges. All right, so my 3D cursor's right there, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in a plane. Go to edit mode, rotate X 90. So we have that. And I'll press 2 for edge selection. I'm going to pull this down, get the approximate size of this. Like that. I'll take this edge, pull it out to here. This edge. Something like that. Now you're going to need to make it a bit bigger, so I'm going to select it all S to scale it like this. Alright, so this is what I have. Okay. Let's see. Let's come in. Let's select it all. I'm in face selection now. Let's press I to inset. Pull it in. And let's imagine that this is the flat part and then it's going to slope. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to extrude this up like this. Don't worry about the position of the keys. And then I'm going to press S to scale and slope it in like that. Alright, and then I'm going to press I to inset again. I'm going to create sort of the flat part, and then I'm going to come down. E, and we'll just gesture down a little bit. Not worry about how far right now. Let's start with that. Now, this part, it would attach to the rest of the computer. But I don't want it just to be, you know, a flat plane, so I'm going to extrude it back a little bit in the Y. So that it would just, you know, attach to the keyboard, to the computer a little bit better. Now we'll do some beveling. So let's select this edge. Let's Control B. Let's pull and see how many edges. There's the 2. 1, 2, 3. I'll go ahead and do it like that. And then we're going to come in here. Let's bevel this one as well like that. And let's take this one and let's bevel that one like that. And let's even bevel this one like that. And then let's select these edges to make the rounded part. We'll smooth this and probably put on the bevel modifier too. Okay, Control B, and we'll just nice rounded. I'll adjust the size of this. Let's shade smooth that. And let's select it all. Recalculate outside if need be. Let's look at this now. Go into edit mode and S to scale the whole thing a little bit bigger. And I just want to see how much space is between the buttons and this thing. It's hard to tell, but pretty tight actually. Let's just make it even. So let's leave it like, yeah, let's make it a bit smaller that way. Like that, and scale it in the Z a little bit. But we'll position this. Weighted normal, auto smooth, that's better. And we'll take this, pull it forward so the keys are closer. Maybe not quite that much. So what I might do is pull this back to about there, but then take all of these and let's see. Well, if I select that, if I try select similar normal, I'm going to switch off that matte cap so it's easier to see, so that's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is let's see, some of them, yeah, that actually did work. All right, because I've got the array on here. I don't have it there. I do have it there. So what I'll do though is I want to push this down, but I have all these other faces that I beveled, so I'll go Control Plus. That'll expand my selection until I get to the last bevel. I'll try that and pull them down like that. And that's more along the lines of what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's our little keyboard there. Select that, M, new collection, keyboard. I'm going to go ahead now and apply any arrays that I've got here. Okay. Make sure I'm in median point. Let's move this over and scale it up a little bit just to add it to our group. There we go. And we now have a keyboard as well. Cool. All right. Moving on, we're going to do this gauge. It's 3D gauge. All right, so we need a circle that's somewhat rounded. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's try using a mesh circle and changing the vertices to something that we like maybe 22. Go into edit mode and rotate X90. And we'll start this. So I'm going to press E to extrude, S to scale. I'm going to bring it in a little ways like that. And I will take this and extrude it back a ways. And then with that on the back, let's X faces to get rid of those. 2 for edge selection, and Shift Alt and click these edges going around. I'm going to come back to here so it's a little bit easier to see. And let's Control B to bevel. And I'm going to continue with my 5 segments there. Although I may put a subdivision surface on this, and so probably 3 would do it. So let's go Control 1 and shade smooth and do something like that. Now, I wanted it a little flatter on the surface. Maybe I'll do that again, and we'll try Control B and pulling, and we'll come further so that this middle one here is similar to the width of these. Try that. Let's go Control 1 again, shade smooth. Maybe that looks a little bit more like the original. Okay, so we have that. Let's make that inner piece now. We're going to select an edge from this, Shift D, pull it out. P to break it out. And now I have that. I'm going to shut off subdivision surface for now. Go into edit mode, look from the front, press 1 for vertex selection. I'm going to scale it down a little bit. Pull it down as if it would fit here. Make it a bit bigger. All right, we're going to do something right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and press F and extrude back. We'll delete those back faces. So we have this. Let's now, let's see. Let's scale this down a little bit and then press I to inset. Come down like that. So we have that going on. I'm going to bevel this edge, Control B, but I'm going to roll my mouse back to, so I just have 3, because I'm going to put on a subdivision surface in a moment. In fact, we can go ahead and do that. Just enable that again. Shade smooth. so we can see what we're getting. Let's take this whole thing, we can pull it back in just to get a sense of how it's going to go. Maybe that's a bit thick, so let's scale that in the Y and pull it back like this. Now let's deal with cutting this thing so we don't have the bottom. So let's see, I'm going to take those faces and press J to join, and now I can just press C and in face selection I can just come around here and sort of page select, press C and select, and let's get rid of those faces. Come back and look at this and just adjust a little bit. What I might do is press K for the knife tool, click, drag down to there, and then select this vertex and pull it down so it's covered. Look from the front. I'm going to go into wireframe and I'm just going to box select these vertices here and just pull them up a little bit. And maybe I'll grab these, just pull them up a little bit. That's just what's all hidden underneath. And I now have that piece there as well. I don't really like this sharp edge here, so I may E and S and just come in, just gives it a slight rounding. It's probably not even visible, but it is to me. And then I'm just going to look at this and decide. I might want to try dissolving that edge and seeing if I like it any better. Not really. Alright, okay. So we got that so far. Okay, cool. So now let's make the little handle there. Needle, pointer. Shift A, mesh, plane, right in the middle. Scale it down. Rotate X 90. Scale it a bit more. Let's take this edge and pull it up. Scale. And whereabouts in the middle is that? Well, it may go past the middle a little bit, so it's a little hard to tell. So I'm going to do that. Let's give this some thickness by pulling back. Let's delete that back face. Let's try just adding a bevel. And I'll go for 3. And shade smooth. We can try angle. And see if we like this. I could come in here and bevel these two here like this. Let's see if I like that any better. I think that's probably okay for how small this is. And do I want to pull that back? That's probably okay like that. Let's bring in another plane and in edit mode, rotate X 90 and scale it down. How big are the tick marks in terms of their thickness? They're just small things. Okay, so we'll scale that down a little bit more. We'll scale this into Z, and we'll say something like that. Let's extrude it back and get rid of those back faces, and then we'll just bevel this by hand. Okay, we'll select these vertical edges and Control B, and this one, and I guess I'm putting 5 spots in there. It's probably more than I need, but okay, select that, weighted normal, and add auto smooth. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide it back in, and I'm going to bring it up. So my 3D cursor is there. I'm just going to take this and move it out, and I'm going to rotate it by eye. Is that what I want to do? No, that's not what I want to do. Let's rotate Y 90 and move that in. So is that one? There is no, yeah, there is horizontal like that. Okay, good. That's what I wanted. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to set the origin of that to the 3D cursor. And I will, first of all, Shift-D rotate Y 180 to put one on the other side. Shift-D rotate Y, let's try 45, but minus. And this one too. Shift-D rotate Y, 45. And we've done that. Now, the only other thing is I really don't like the open back of this. So what I think I'm going to do is come in here and select this and press F to make a face. And because I got a subdivision surface on here, I'm going to press 3, select that face, press I to inset, and pull it in a little ways. And let's just make sure, first of all, yeah, see? So I need to select all these pieces here. Go into edit mode, Alt N, recalculate outside so all the normals are facing the right way. Face orientation, and then I will just decide maybe I want to push these back in closer to there. I don't mind a little bit of a shadow. In fact, I'll do that. I pull this out. See how that looks. I just don't know that I really like how round this is, and so I'm thinking that I might want to get rid of a few of these edges. I'm going to try X dissolve edges so that it's flatter, and I just think that I like that better. Okay, let's select all of that. M, new collection, and call that our gauge. And let's move it over and make that a bit bigger to add to our group here. Let's switch over and see how everybody is looking. I think this is a bit long now that I see it. And so we're going to come in here and let's see. I will just box select this and pull it down. And here's our group so far. All right, so it's coming along really well. Let's leave it at that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to model a few more of these pieces, such as we will do these buttons, one of these, and we'll do the handles, and we'll see if we want to build the whole thing sometime. Cool, thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.